I am an hour and 20 minutes into this chapter. It is almost done, but just disaster strikes again. So here we go with Alan Wake.
This is where the fun begins.
One of my favorite and one of the most underrated games of all time. I have wanted to cover this game for so long on this channel, and what better time to do it now that it's on PS Plus? I mean, there is the sequel coming out in October, but I have an issue with that. I'm gonna go on a rant for a little bit. If you don't want to hear my rant about physical versus digital, timestamp right here. Why? Why isn't it getting a physical release?
That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard, you imbecile.
Because it's not getting a physical release as of this moment, and it probably isn't going to get one, I am strongly debating not covering it on the channel.
What?
The fact that it isn't getting a physical release it hurts me so much. And the excuses that they give us just make it even worse.
You blew it! You had it all and you blew it!
So they aren't making a physical release of Alan Wake 2, but they are making a collector's item for one of the collectibles in the game. Work that one out.
I don't like your plan. It sucks.
And again, the excuses. So they dropped the physical release for more time to polish. One of the creative directors, Sam Lake, says that by going digital only, it allows us more time to polish the game by a significant amount of weeks. The game that goes onto the disc has to be playable without a patch. Delay the game! You've already tried to gain some positive PR by saying that it's cheaper than most digital AAA games. And then for a lot of people, you've just thrown that positive PR right out the window.
You done f***ed it up!
Look, I know for most people, physical media is like, ooh, boring. And a lot of people seem to think it's pointless, but I'm here to tell you, you're just wrong.
A little rough, don't you think?
And with the sales data from Final Fantasy 16 coming out showing that over 40% of game sales were physical. In 2023, where physical is supposedly dead, that's not too bad.
Unbelievable.
Also, I just found this quote saying that the developers say it's skipping physical edition due to purchasing habits of gamers have largely shifted towards digital. Get in the mud. They also said somewhere that I can't find the quote that it's basically gonna almost be one-to-one with people who would have bought the physical are going to buy the digital. But if you look anywhere on Alan Wake 2, if you look on their Twitter page, if you go to the replies of any of their tweets, everywhere it's make a physical copy. THQ literally offered to publish this game physically for them. That's just embarrassing. So many people have said that they're not buying this game unless it's physical. And I'll be honest, I'm probably one of them. As much as I love the first game, I cannot support a all-digital future for gaming. A AAA game doing this is quite dangerous, and it cannot be the norm. All right, rant over. Let's talk about the platinum, shall we? Is it difficult? Not really. Is it fun? Oh, absolutely. If you guys are picking this game up through PlayStation Plus and playing it for the first time, which I know a lot of you are, because if you don't know, Alan Wake, when it first came out, was a 360 exclusive. You know when you first look up a trophy guide and the first step is just enjoy the game? That's basically what I'm imploring you to do. I am almost begging you. If you can, go into this game with no knowledge of the game whatsoever. Obviously, you have a collectible guide up for all the collectibles you need, but in terms of games I would love to play for the first time without having prior knowledge of the game, Alan Wake is definitely up there. Alright, so coming back to get the platinum, I had 18 out of the 51 trophies available. After downloading my save from the cloud, I was halfway through playthrough 1. The platinum does sadly require 2 playthroughs because you have to beat the game on Nightmare difficulty, but in typical fashion, to unlock Nightmare difficulty, you have to beat the game. And while doing your first playthrough, you should be getting all your collectibles. Almost all of them anyway. Nightmare has its own collectibles that you can only get in Nightmare difficulty. Since, of course, I was halfway through this game after downloading my save, and at the time when I played this game, I wasn't too focused on trophies, there were so many collectibles I hadn't picked up. So the plan was, find where I am in the collectible guide, and then just get all the collectibles for that playthrough that I can. And because your collectibles carry over through playthroughs, at the start of Nightmare 2, just get all the collectibles that I missed, and then the extra collectibles that are exclusive to Nightmare difficulty. Then after the 2 playthroughs are done, a cheeky miscellaneous cleanup. Alright, so grab your all-important flashlight, and let's finally platinum Alan Wake.
Yes. Yes. Yeah!
Alright, so the save is downloaded. Let's see where we're at. Oh, I'm on this bit. Oh, I missed this game. Yeah, this part is definitely up there with the most memorable parts of the game. Mainly because of its iconic song that I cannot play, sadly. But just doing this section made me fall in love with this game so quickly. After dispatching quite a few enemies, we finish up this rock concert. Ooh, So quickly discussing the combat in this game, it's a really simple gameplay loop. I'm talking like really simple. You light up the enemies with a flashlight to get rid of the darkness that is around them, and then you just kill them. Again, really simple, but God, it's satisfying. Next up, I have to quickly figure out where I am on my collectible guide. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna start getting the pages from you. If you haven't hit that like button yet, do it. It helps me out a ton. So progressing onto the farm, we pick up this particular coffee thermos. Okay, considering that's the 67th thermos in the game. I think I missed a few. This is the collectible that's getting a physical release, but not the game. All right, now let's see what the boss fights consist of in this game. Yeah, so there's no real boss fights in this game. It's just usually just farm vehicles. We're going to quickly breeze through this playthrough since we're already halfway through this playthrough and there's another playthrough to go where I will talk about the story, etc. Also, by the way, 85% of you guys who are watching this aren't subscribed. So if you're enjoying, hit that subscribe button. Next up, we're making our way through the town. We pop another trophy for dodging a certain amount of times.
Hi, how are you?
And then we pop another collectible trophy. That's 5. The video is on 19. We then pop this trophy, and I still don't know what it's unlocked for. Okay. We progress further into the town and pop another trophy involving the flare gun, easily the best gun in the game. Decent. All right, now after making it through the end of the town, we're trying to get out of this basement, and we just get ambushed.
Guess that one saw the light, huh?
Oh, I forgot he decked himself out in Christmas light. All right, now we need to hold out in this area while we wait for the chopper to get ready. And here's another trophy that I don't know what is that text? And then after progressing a bit further, we pop another story-related trophy. We open this shutter to let our friends through, and in typical fashion, when it's my turn... Oh, what a shock. We pop another trophy for completing chapter 5. All right, we're halfway through the final chapter, and I just have no words for this. All right, this is another collectible trophy. This one is just really strange. While dealing with the final boss, we pop a trophy for changing the battery 100 times, and then we take out the final boss. Get a quick montage of all the characters we have met throughout the game, and then beat the game. Now on to the next playthrough. At the start of the game, we're getting chased by the darkness. We escape into this house and watch this man that is encased in darkness attack this helpless gentleman, and then the darkness puts his sight on us. Escaping the house, we learn a very important point that will aid us through this entire game.
Follow the light. You should go into the light. You are only safe there.
Once we have our flashlight, we then destroy the darkness around this gentleman.
You did it. Now the darkness no longer protects him, but it's still inside, controlling him. He can't be saved.
Now, dealing with our first enemy, let's just see how many bullets it takes to kill him on the hardest difficulty. Hey, buddy. Okay, if it's 4, alright, 4 shots might not be too bad. And then the full realization of this difficulty sets in. And you don't regen health until you get in the light. Ooh, okay. Alright, you know they say don't text and drive. That's what I get for looking at Discord. Well done, Josh. All right, now for the story of this game. Alan Wake is a writer who hasn't written anything for 2 years, and he goes away on vacation with his wife, Alice. He comes here to get away from all the paparazzi. We come into this diner to get our keys from the holiday cabin, and we run into this lovely lady.
Alan Wake. Oh, God. I am your biggest fan.
We try and look for Mr. Stucky in the bathroom, as he owns the keys, and we run into this lady.
Carl couldn't make it. Unfortunately, he was taken ill.
After receiving the key for the cabin, we head back to Alice, but it turns out that we may not have the right key.
Hey, wait! Mrs. Wake! Your keys!
Oh dear! After arriving at the cabin and looking around for a bit, we find this radio station, which is another collectible in the game. And these radio stations are really good because it gives you knowledge of what other characters are doing while you're in the cabin, while you're in another area, etc. We turn on this generator to get power in the cabin, and then we settle in. One thing I forgot to mention is Alice has nyctophobia. I think I pronounced that right, but basically she has an extreme fear of the dark. As you can imagine, quite fitting for this type of game. We meet up with Alice upstairs and she says she has a surprise for us.
Surprise.
How dare you?
Damn it, Alice, you... Everyone
Hey,
keeps... So now you want to get me committed?
No, it's not like that. That's not... Alan? Alan?
Just don't! I don't want to hear it. God damn it, Alice!
After going for a walk, the lights suddenly switch off in the cabin and we need to rush back up to the cabin.
The cabin had gone dark. All the lights were out.
Oh, those bloody crows are going to be such a nightmare on this difficulty.
Alice? Alice? Oh no!
After diving into the lake, we end up waking up from a car crash, having absolutely no idea how we got there. After escaping the wreckage, we have to find a phone and...
The gas station was my best.
Oh, bro, again, so much nostalgia. Walking through the woods, we see a slight glimpse of what looks to be like a person.
Anybody there? Please, I've been in an accident.
So as I said before, there is a collectible that is exclusive to Nightmare difficulty. All right, so this is the first one of the Nightmare pages. Yeah, this is one of the pages that is exclusively on this difficulty. Progressing further through the forest, we run into that glimpse once again.
Hey! Hey, you!
Phil!
There's been an accident. I need help. Oh, hell.
Carl Stucky.
As Stucky stalks us, we run into this house looking for any sort of weapon or any sort of shelter. Run, Alan, run!
Second now, and Stucky would be knocking on the door with his axe like Nicholson in The Shining.
After escaping inside the house and watching it fall down a ditch, we advance on and it's time to do some kill farming. I think you need about 50 kills with each weapon in this game, unless it's the revolver, which you need 100, but you very easily get that through natural progression. But we're going to quickly knock it out with a flare gun. The only other gun I need to do this with is the hunting rifle. There we are. After a few minutes of wandering through the forest, we finally make our way to the gas station. And just the relief was immense.
Experienced in the darkness, the lights of the gas station felt comforting, at least for a moment. The sane world reasserted itself.
That's one thing I love with this game as well. Like, every time you reach like a light area, you feel just such relief. It reminds me of like Dark Souls when you get back to filing. Like, no lie. We then go into the gas station and chuck the police a quick ring.
Rainbow Sheriff Station.
While explaining what happened and the situation to the police, we learn that the island that we're staying on is quite what it seems.
We were staying in a cabin on the island, on Cauldron Lake.
There's no island on Cauldron Lake, not since the big eruption in the 70s.
Please, I can take you there, okay?
It's all gone. That's the end of chapter 1. Starting off the next chapter, we get checked out by a doctor since, well, if someone told you that they're staying on an island that collapsed 40 years ago, I'm fairly sure you'd have some questions too. While looking around the police station, we notice these missing individuals, and upon further research, both Richard Bow and Bruce Dansky are developers for Wraith of the Oblivion, which is a tabletop game, and Bruce Dansky has actually worked on a couple of the Tom Clancy games, which is pretty cool. While being interviewed by the sheriff, we get a rather interesting conversation.
Hello?
Alan, please help me.
Alice?
Stop talking to the law. You'll do exactly what I say if you ever want to see your wife.
Who is this?
Go to the back lot. There's a hole in the fence on the left. Look inside the junker. I left a little something there to convince you we're all on the same page here.
Going through the back, we find this.
Alice's driver's license had been placed on the front seat. The caller meant business.
But now we have to rent a cabin. Barry uses his connections and asks Rose for the best place to rent a cabin, and then we meet up with Rusty. Now it's time to go and try and rescue Alice from the kidnapper. We scavenge this house for supplies, and we get a nice little surprise. Bro, what? That genuinely sent a shiver down my spine. We have to get back to Rusty, and God, he is in such a horrible shape. Oh, Jesus, Rusty?
I'm back here.
Oh, hell. It happened.
just the way it was on that page. I found came true. It knew. So
Oh, so good. Yeah, one thing about this game that is just absolutely phenomenal is collectibles, and it's very rare I say that. You heard Rusty say that he read something on the page, then it came true. That is one thing that happens in this game a lot. The collectibles can actually help you, since if you pick up a page on the manuscript and read it, it can sometimes be giving you a hint of what's possibly coming up in the game. Like, this game is just masterfully crafted at times. The design is just absolute genius.
It was perfect. Perfect.
Now, in order to help Rusty, we need to go turn the power back on in order to light up the area that he is in, but...
That was too late. Someone had destroyed the circuit breaker. There was no way to get the lights back on.
Now, while we try and get back to Rusty, something in the darkness takes him away, and while we're trying to look for him...
Something had torn a mammoth-sized hole in the wall.
please don't feed the animals.
Oh my god. What's good, Rusty? And sadly, we do have to put Rusty down with quite a bit of force, I will say. How much, Rusty? Jesus. We progress further into the forest and we attempt to ride this lift across the cavern, but of course, things go wrong. And then we are then helped by this individual, though something really doesn't seem right with him.
It took a moment, but then I recognized him. He'd been on the ferry when I first arrived here with Alice. He knew my name. We were headed in the direction of Lover's Peak. There was no way this was a coincidence. He was the kidnapper.
The section in this game can be tricky since you don't have a gun. You only have a flashlight and these flares, and you're relying on the AI to help you. And on the hardest difficulties, relying on AI is never great. But in order to rescue Alice, this kidnapper wants the entire manuscript of the book that is being written. Yeah, you know those pages that you're collecting as collectibles? He wants those. Me fully realizing in my second playthrough what is actually happening, it's just so good.
And he wanted the manuscript because he thought it held some magical power. But I had no manuscript to give.
Bro, just playing this now after... Oh my god, the story is just a lot less convoluted than I thought it was. It's still... The ending is still a bit weird, but... God, this game's so good. We make our way deeper into the woods. We encounter a new enemy type. Oh, it's Dr. Salvador. Alright, now put yourself in my shoes. I am an hour and 20 minutes into this chapter. It is almost done, but just disaster strikes again. So, Mr. Collectible, which is big sad, and it's back there, and it will let me through. So, yeah, I have to play this through this chapter again. Fun. But after clearing out some birds, we meet up with Barry once again, and the chapter is over. In the morning, Barry gets a call from that Rose girl.
Oh, you sweet, brilliant girl.
We then go and meet up with Rose, and just, of course, something just doesn't seem right.
Welcome to... Oh dear, Mr. Wake. I'm so glad you're here.
After taking a sip of coffee, I don't know why you would. I mean, just look at her. Things just go sour.
Hey, Al. Al, what's... Oh.
Barry! What?
Ooh, she may have drugged us. We have been drugged for an entire day. Barry is still passed out, and Rose is, well, just look at her.
Welcome to the Oh Dear Diner. What can I get you today? Coffee?
But we still have to meet up with the kidnapper. While trying to leave, some friends quite literally spawn in.
Stay right where you are, Spillane!
We run deeper into the woods away from the cops. We have no gun. We have no flashlight. It's looking dark. No pun intended. Having no flashlight gives off some quite interesting set pieces, like using this spotlight in order to chase the darkness away from this gate. But thankfully, we eventually find a flashlight. And then we pick up a new weapon in the game, probably my favorite.
It took me a moment to recognize the flashbang grenades. They were an ideal weapon for my situation.
Flashbangs in this game are so freaking amazing. They're so satisfying and they're so fun to use. I mean, just look at this. What? Now, after sprinting from the Taken through the forest for a good few minutes, we barely arrive at another gas station. After the radio host says our name live on air, it really doesn't take long for the cops to then show up. We get another collectible trophy. This is for watching every TV show in the game. Most of these are story related, so you're not really missing out that much. But now it's time to fight this bulldozer, and I forever laugh at this sound effect when we die. But after 2 tries, we box it in and dispose of the dozer. And then we pick up this car, and the chapter is over. All right, at the start of the next chapter, we arrive at the meetup spot where we're supposed to meet the kidnapper. But of course, just something's wrong again.
It was all a waste of time. The bastard never showed up.
The kidnapper rings us, and he tells us he wants us to meet somewhere else.
I want the manuscript. Don't keep me waiting, Wake.
Hello? Hello? Ah! I'm gonna kill him.
On our way to meet him, I whip out this freaking clutch play. And now it's time to move through the mines. The mines aren't that bad. You get this stupidly easy puzzle to advance to the next area, and that's about it. We run into another can pyramid. I missed from there. Wow.
Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening.
And we finally meet up with the kidnapper, but like usual, something goes wrong. Spooky lady. Now, at the start of the next chapter, we wake up in the Lake Lodge, owned by Emil Hartman. After wandering around, we encounter this lovely gentleman, and he's just my favorite character in the game. Oh, my boy's squaring up. Bro, look at him. He's got some mad moves.
Best thing I've heard in a while.
No real context for this clip. It's just hilarious. All right, now it's nighttime again, and nighttime in this game is never a good thing. So we need to quickly grab our stuff and get the hell out of here.
Barry? Ow, about time.
Let's go, Barry. While arguing with Hartman, the darkness eventually finds its way into the lodge. After the darkness has taken over many items in this area, we have to turn this generator on in order to get rid of them. After escaping the lodge, we pop another trophy. This thing... ooh, cheeky. Now, with Barry having secured the car, we have to go through this hedge maze, Harry Potter style, in order to get to him. And then we ran into another old friend. Oh yeah, we gotta fight the doctor now, which is bizarre. And he is one tough cookie, let me tell you that. I played it for a good few hours. I just really... oh my god, that headshot. All right, now it's time for easily the best part of the game. I mentioned it at the start of the video. It's just phenomenal.
God damn.
Even if on this difficulty, I got absolutely ruined instantly. Oh, hello. Okay. 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 I thought I found a banging strategy for this difficulty. Oh, hell yeah. Just stay in here. Oh, okay, never mind. But yeah, the concert, as I said, is one of the best parts in the game. The iconic song that plays, again, that I cannot play because YouTube would smack me silly. But yeah, just overall, brilliant section. And it's nice to know that I've actually caught up with my collectible guide now. So do I have all the pages in this chapter? Yes. Okay. After crashing to sleep and then waking up again, this dummy is now waiting for us.
Dummy! Yeah!
But thanks to said dummy, we are now stuck in jail. But the darkness makes quite easy work for him. And do you notice again that he says, I know this?
Get back in the cell, Stephen King. The only way you're leaving this place is
Stephen King.
Wait a minute. I know this.
He just read it from his book. So now we're back in the town with the sheriff, and we need to, as I said earlier, grab a chopper and escape town. We pick up the helicopter keys, and it's time to GTFO. We have to hold our position once again on the helipad. I thought this was going to be difficult on Nightmare difficulty, since there's so many enemies coming at you from different directions, but it really wasn't hard. Now, we're going to quickly jump to the end of the game, since you guys have already seen this. There's no real hard parts left in the game. It's all just your standard stuff at this point. So we're going to take out the final boss and then pop ourselves the Nightmare trophy. I only just clocked that this trophy name is a pun, and it took me this long into scripting a video to notice that it's a pun. I hate myself.
You suck!
Now on to the miscellaneous trophies. There really aren't too many left. We get 2 quick trophies at the Hartman Lodge. One is for listening to all 3 of Hartman's voice recordings, and these are proper interesting, as you get to see basically what Alice was speaking to Hartman about Alan. And the next trophy we get for turning this TV off. Now, the next 3 trophies are stipulation trophies. First trophy, we need to make it through Bright Falls with the sheriff without dying. So it's from jail cell to helicopter. The first attempt wasn't great. Oh, go away. Let's try that again. But we get onto the chopper and we pop ourselves a trophy. Next up, we have to get to the final boss without shooting a bullet. So it's from the start of Chapter 6 until you reach the final boss. Can be annoying, but it isn't difficult. After that, we have to make it to the kidnapper in 30 minutes. Again, it's not difficult in the slightest. Based on the timestamps I have of recording, it took me 20 minutes. Now let's get the final collectibles. And then that all-important, beautiful platinum. There's the last copy there, mates. Run, Alan! Oh, for God's sake. Run! Hypercaffeinated. Platinum! Good stuff. If you guys want to see me platinum another horror game, click right here to watch me platinum Dead Space.